Breaking right now at 6, America decides. The first polls closing at this hour are in Kentucky and Indiana. Those two states could really provide our first look at where the presidential race is heading. One thing is certain, though, it is unlikely we will know who won the presidency tonight. Thank you for choosing us, WUSA 9, on this historic night in America. I'm Lorenzo Hall.
I'm Leslie Foster. Can I just say we are so excited about this night?
Like I'm getting a little amped.
I know, got those little jitters, right? Yes, so we're live here on WUSA 9, and we're streaming on WUSA 9 Plus, and we're going to be with you all night.
We mean it.
All night. More than 81 million Americans voted early, and that includes 7 million here in the DMV, and millions more are casting their ballots today. Yeah, the campaign trail for Kamala Harris ends here in D.C. on the campus of Howard University. Police, you saw there, stepping up security across the district today. And the need for that increased security was also felt at the Capitol, where just hours ago, police arrested a man who appeared to be ready to start a fire. We'll talk more about that in just a moment. But first, WUSA 9 has live team coverage all night on the big races. Yeah, you know, we have to start with that race for the White House. We have team coverage from D.C. to Florida. Let's start with Eric Glasser, who's covering the Trump campaign for us tonight in West Palm Beach, Florida. Eric, what's it like there?
Good evening, guys. As you can see, people are now starting to flow in. We've got a couple of hundred, maybe 300 supporters here inside the convention center. But by the time all is said and done, we're expecting 4,000 to 5,000 people here. The number right now starting to rival the number of reporters and photographers that are up on side the risers. I can tell you that when the former president got back to South Florida today, he had spent yesterday and this morning in Michigan. First order of business, he and his wife Melania headed to a polling place not far from their home in Mar-a-Lago. About 15 minutes the former president spent with people taking questions from the press. After that, he said that he and his family are going to be watching the results at Mar-a-Lago, and then they're going to eventually make their way here, depending upon how things go. And as you mentioned, it could go well into the evening and even maybe a few days. When you speak to political insiders, it's really a mixed boat. There is confidence in the number of Republicans that turned out to vote early and the number who were still standing in line today to cast their ballots. But there's also been some concern about the ground game, door knocking and polling, which was contracted out to outside groups, and whether that was effective. Mr. Trump was asked about his campaign, and here's what he had to say.
I think my team is incredible. Look, they say it's the best run campaign they've seen. Some people said it's the best run campaign they've ever seen. But in order to make that stick, you have to win.
The former president says he has not prepared any speeches, and when asked whether win or lose, this is going to be his last campaign, he said he thinks so. He was also asked whether, unlike in 2020, he'd be willing to concede if it appears that he had lost, and he said he would, but he added the qualifier that they believe the election was fair. After voting today, Mr. Trump headed over to his campaign headquarters in West Palm Beach to thank his supporters and those who had worked on his campaign. I can tell you that there is no fixed time right now for when the former president and his family would make their way here to the convention center. That is fluid as the results come in, but his supporters are clearly here, and we'll start talking with them after 7 o'clock here on the Eastern Seaboard when we start seeing some of those results and gauge their reaction. We'll be with you throughout the evening. For now, live in West Palm Beach, Eric Glasser, WUSA 9. Yeah, we know the former president falsely claimed victory back in 2020 when the counting was still underway, so a lot of folks are going to be watching tonight to see what he has to say when he hits that stage behind you later on. Eric, thank you. We'll see you later on.
All right, back here in D.C., Vice President Kamala Harris is going to be awaiting her results at Howard University.
Yeah, Lionel Donovan has been there all evening with a look at this massive event as many students gather to watch this night together. Lionel.
How you doing, Leslie and Lorenzo? Well, the evening is still early, but as you can see behind me here in Burr Gymnasium, students and Howard alum are slowly making their way inside the gymnasium for tonight's watch party. Now, I had a chance to speak with the student body president, and she said that she wanted to put this event together in order to make sure that students that weren't able to make it into the yard would still have a place to come and fellowship and watch the election as it develops. Now, I'm told that there are going to be some performances here later on this evening, and on the screens, you'll actually be able to have cameras set up to watch what is happening in the yard along with election results as they come out. And I also, when I was speaking to to her, she was talking about some of the issues that are important to Howard students and young people around the country. Things like inflation, body autonomy, reproductive health care. Those are issues that she says are important to folks like her. And she's saying that Vice President Harris was the one to speak to those issues. So now it looks like they'll be waiting to see if the rest of the country agrees and votes her into the White House. But for now, we're live here at Byrd Gymnasium. Lionel Donovan, WUSA 9. Back to you guys.
Yeah, hey Lionel, I'm curious about how students and alums were able to even get into Byrd.
Yeah.
Byrd Gymnasium holds about 2,500 students, or 2,500 people. Howard's got about 11,000 when you consider all of the student population there. Do you get a sense of how people were able to get a ticket to get one of those coveted spots at the gym?
Well, that has been something that a lot of the students and alums and just people around trying to get inside have been talking about. You know, initially with us even trying to get in here, you know, traffic was a huge issue with a lot of road closures around the university, but some have tried to RSVP online. Some of the students that I talked to, some of the other alumni that I was talking to said they weren't able to get those RSVPs in, but a lot of folks are saying that even all the people that were able to get those RSVPs and to get a seat here, that they might even be at capacity. So they might have to find somewhere else to go in order to continue watching this election.
Yeah, one of the hottest tickets in D.C. tonight.
I guess just being in the air and breathing it is enough for a lot of folks who hope to witness history tonight. All right, Lionel, thank you.